Modern raised beds often fail for one simple reason. The wood rots long before the gardener expects it to. Within 3 to 5 years, boards soften, corners collapse, and moisture damage spreads from the soil line upward. The usual response is pressure-treated lumber, plastic liners, or chemical sealants. But these solutions introduce toxins, trap moisture, or simply delay the problem. Long before modern preservatives existed, farmers and builders solved this issue differently. Their method didn't rely on chemicals at all. Instead, it used physics, airflow, and natural barriers to preserve wood for decades, even in constant contact with soil. You know, this old-world approach still works today, and honestly, it works better than most modern alternatives. Wood rot is not actually caused by soil itself. It's caused by persistent moisture combined with oxygen. When wood stays wet and oxygen is present, fungi really thrive. Sealants often make this worse by trapping moisture inside the wood, which, accelerates internal decay. Pressure-treated lumber does resist rot, but it leaches chemicals over time and eventually becomes brittle. Plastic liners block drainage, creating saturated conditions at the soil line, the exact environment rot fungi prefer. The old-world method avoids all of this by controlling moisture exposure instead of trying to chemically resist it. Traditional builders understood a simple rule: wood survives when it can dry regularly. Instead of sealing wood completely, they designed systems that allowed water to shed quickly and air to circulate. This is why historic barns, bridges, and fence posts often lasted 50 to 100 years without treatment. Raised beds usually fail because they violate this rule. The traditional solution uses 3 layers working together: a sacrificial moisture buffer, a breathable barrier, and an airflow gap. Together, these stop rot without chemicals. Instead of placing soil directly against the wooden boards, old methods placed a buffer material that absorbed moisture before it reached the wood. So the best materials you can use are straw, leaf mold, wood shavings, dry grass, and bark flakes. This layer sits between the soil and the wood, and it's about 1 to 2 inches thick. It absorbs moisture spikes from irrigation and rainfall, which, really helps reduce direct saturation of the boards. Over time, this layer breaks down, but that's intentional. It sacrifices itself so the wood doesn't, Old-world builders used materials that blocked soil contact but still allowed airflow. Today, the best equivalent is cardboard or untreated paper layers. When you place cardboard between the buffer material and the wood, it actually prevents soil microbes from directly attacking the boards, but at the same time it still lets moisture vapor escape. Unlike plastic, cardboard does not trap water. It slows moisture movement just enough to protect the wood while still preserving breathability. As the cardboard decomposes, you can simply replace it without disturbing the bed at all. The most overlooked cause of raised bed rot is actually water pooling at the bottom edge of the boards. Traditionally, folks avoided ground contact whenever possible. So you can replicate this by setting boards on flat stones or bricks using a gravel trench beneath the frame, or even just slightly elevating the bed above ground level. Even just a half-inch air gap can really make a difference. It dramatically increases the lifespan by letting the bottom edge dry out after rain. This simple step alone can, actually double the life of untreated wood. One old-world technique that's often misunderstood is wood charring, sometimes called the shu-sugi-ban method. Light surface charring changes the wood's structure, making it less hospitable to fungi and insects. The key is restraint. The wood should be lightly charred, not burned deeply. After charring, brushing off loose carbon and oiling with natural oils like linseed improves durability without sealing pores. Charred wood repels moisture but still breathes, exactly what rot prevention requires. Traditional oils don't harden into impermeable layers. They penetrate wood fibers and slow water absorption without trapping moisture inside. The best options include raw linseed oil, tung oil, and pine tar blends. Applied once or twice before installation, these oils extend lifespan while keeping the wood alive rather than suffocated. Avoid lining beds with plastic. It guarantees trapped moisture. Right, so you should avoid sealing all sides completely. Wood needs to breathe, you know. And avoid burying untreated boards directly in soil. So, it's important to avoid relying on compost contact alone to protect wood, because honestly, it just accelerates decay. These are modern shortcuts that actually work against how wood naturally behaves. Raised beds built with this old-world approach routinely last 10 to 20 years, even when using untreated wood. Some last longer with simple maintenance, like, replacing the buffer layer every few seasons. Instead of fighting rot with chemicals, this method actually works with nature, controlling moisture, airflow, and biology. Industrial materials replaced traditional design thinking. Chemicals, well, they were cheaper than craftsmanship. Plastic was, faster than actually understanding moisture dynamics. But gardeners are rediscovering what builders always knew: design beats treatment. If your raised beds keep failing, the problem isn't the wood. It's how the wood is allowed or not allowed to breathe. Use separation instead of sealing and, allow drying instead of trapping moisture. Build like old farmers did, and your raised beds will outlast trends, products, and marketing promises. If this changed how you think about raised bed construction, share it, save it, and start building beds that age gracefully instead of rotting quietly. Gentle herb living.